Governor Larry Hogan recently unveiled his version of the 2017 budget, and many are suggesting that it is a positive step for our state. Colin, what you think?
Well, I mean, honestly, I read through the announcement that was on the governor's website, and I guess the first thing I would say, of course, if it's your proposal, it's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. If it's the other guy's proposal, it's the worst thing since whatever you can imagine. That having been said, and again, I am a Democrat, so I tend to pull a little bit left. I've been very impressed with Governor Hogan so far in his administration.
Me too.
Based on what I've read in his budget, he's got all the right priorities. I think that a lot of the, again, and I've harped on this a lot in the past, I think the state of Maryland has a lot of opportunity for eliminating areas of waste which are just emblematic of the way that the Maryland government works. So I'm not seeing any egregious cuts to programs that I think are important. I think that we have certainly a lot of money going to education. There's a lot of money going to both the highway funds as well as to local municipalities for road improvement, which is sorely needed. We have a lot of money going to environment. There was an increase in environmental protection. So all the things that someone would normally criticize a Republican, obviously Maryland Republicans are a little bit different than national Republicans, there's no criticism there that I think somebody could find.
So, go ahead.
So when we talk about highway user revenue, I mean, how much is that being bumped up this year? Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to look.
$231 million in highway user revenue, including an additional $54 million in additional capital grants to local jurisdictions.
So roughly that's $10 million per county.
Well, but it doesn't work out that way, obviously.
No.
Well, and that's an additional, of course, because I think the budget is.
No, I think that's, I'm not sure. Yeah, 200, at any rate, but the bottom line is, whatever it is, the city's going to get most of it. We know that.
Not necessarily. The county actually gets a bigger chunk.
No. I mean, in Maryland, the big Baltimore's.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, yeah.
Well, of course.
Well, I'm sorry. We're in Hagerstown. I thought you were talking about Hagerstown.
Not the city of Hagerstown.
Well, and the reality of the matter, though, is you look at, and especially because I happened to have to drive down the road right after the blizzard, so this was on Tuesday, not even Monday. Montgomery County was still a disaster. A lot of the people who lived down there were still not out of their neighborhoods.
Yes.
Hagerstown was plowed out on Sunday. I was able to go, now of course I drive an all-wheel drive, but my street was plowed, was clear on Sunday. So I think we do a lot better with the little that we get, even though it's a lot less than Montgomery County or PG County or Howard County or Baltimore County, but they also have a lot more square miles of asphalt to maintain than we do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So what I liked is the full funding for educational priorities, the $6.3 billion in the public schools, $140.1 million increase over last year.
Okay.
And a geographical adjustment.
Absolutely. So every county is going to get a piece of that, which has got to make Clayton Wilcox happy.
Well, that's probably why I asked the county for 4.6, or once asked the county for $4.6 more million.
Well, okay. 6.1% growth in state aid for community colleges. And we know we have an exceptional community college in Hagerstown. And, it's been the banner college, community college for the state for
what about university
however
systems?
many years.
Anything in there?
I didn't
see
see
anything for the
no.
university system, although I'm sure.
The P-TECH program that we
As long as they don't cut.
Yeah, the P-TECH program that we talked about, that technical program, $704,000 to launch that, which I think is really, really good. We've got tax relief in there. And, we talk about the businesses and the fact that the tax structure in Maryland, now this is a minor thing, but they're reducing the business filing fee from $300 to $250.
For 4 years or 5 years.
For 4 years. So is that going to make me go in or go out of business? No, but it's a token. It's
I
a token
appreciate
thing.
it.
Yeah, me too.
And there was something, and I had a period of time when after I'd shut my business down and rolled, after I'd rolled into full-time employment, but my business was still on the books, and every year I was paying $300, even though my business was completely inactive, and I think that's a little bit egregious, and it's very difficult to close a business in Maryland. So I think any small step towards helping, especially small businesses, succeeding, and there's a lot in the governor's plan for that, I think is definitely a beneficial thing.
Yeah, and again, I'm a businessman too, and I would tell you that I have never suggested that we need to be the lowest business tax rate in the country, because I still think it's about three things: location, location, and location.
Without a doubt.
And the fact that we are so close to that D.C.-Baltimore corridor, the fact that we're relatively
Coast,
close
near-
to
near
Pittsburgh,
the ports.
we're relatively close to Philadelphia, we can get anywhere we need to get major cities all around us very, very quickly. So, and there's a benefit of that, and the 8170 interchange, and the 270, and the 495, and the 695.
Well, and the reality of the matter is, and this is a little publicized fact, but I believe that the Chambersburg, Hagerstown, Martinsburg metropolitan area is one of the largest in the country in terms of population. When you look at all the surrounding areas, I think
Sure.
we're like 10th or 15th in the country.
The other thing that's a record this year is the $13.7 million that they're going to provide in financing opportunities for small businesses. So that's another good area. So I mean, again, we've covered
Through the business development
right,
Yeah.
right.
department.
We've covered the businesses.
BDD.
We've covered the elderly or the seniors with some tax breaks. We've got $73.7 million for police and aid and local governments. So we've got that covered. I mean, I think there's a lot of good things in here.
It's the first time in a long time that that no funds are being drawn from the Chesapeake Bay Cleanup Fund. And actually more is going towards environmental protection as well.
Well, that's exactly right. And you mentioned about the Republicans, $53 million to the Chesapeake and Atlantic Coastal Bays Trust Fund, which is the highest level of funding for a long, long time. So
That's going to make a lot of people happy.
Well, I mean,
Well, until you know what? Here's the deal. I think Colin, you kicked it off right at the beginning. You know, you're going to have this is the governor's budget. Next thing it's going to go. All these things are going to start going to committee and doing all those things. And you know, we all know that there's one party that controls the system in Annapolis, and you know, both the president and the speaker, you know, are of that party. How much is actually going to stay here? Remember, they can't add to the budget. They can only take from.
but you know, in all honesty, and I think that's a fair game, but it would put them in a fairly poor light if they started attacking.
You
some
would
of the
you would
priorities.
believe
Yeah.
so anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with the initiatives that he wants.
Right.
With
And I think
education,
again,
police
I think
protection.
they're fairly progressive initiatives, and I think anybody with should support them.
Yeah, I think he's done what he said he would do too. Everything he ran on, the direction he said he was going to go, appears he's going that way. So
you know, and as we said, and we had a segment last week about Hogan and his popularity. I mean, you know, you know, I can't imagine the personal difficulty he's had with the cancer thing, but he's getting it done, man. He's not missing a step. You gotta give something to him on that too.
Yep.
What are the chances of him being reelected in a couple of years? I don't know about that. We don't have a really good
we'll
history
have to-
in Maryland about
keeping
two-term governors.
Republicans, yeah.
But you know, we live in
governor's
hope, right?
yes.
All right.
All right. Well, here we go again. Another county commission appointment. Will third time be a charm?